When you start doing research about mouses and when they were invented, you will come across the bug, otherwise known as the XY position mouse. This is a wooden mouse that can only travel in one direction at a time, up and down or left and right, but not both at the same time. There was also a small red button at the top and a wire coming out of this. So you're now happy you found the first mouse, right? Wrong. It dates back way before then. The first version of the mouse was scrollable, made by the UK Navy and then remade by the Canadian Navy. This was considered a military secret for many years. It was used to control radar. The ball in the middle moved discs, and then the discs would activate the pins. The ball in the middle looked a bit like a bowling ball, and that's because it was a 5-pin bowling ball. So now back to the XY position mouse, or the bug. This was invented by Douglas Edinburgh. This mouse was used an NLS DARPA-funded computer. It was so advanced, it had clickable hyperlinks. I know, groundbreaking. You think I'm being sarcastic? But for the time, it really was. Then came the Xerox Alto, one of the first computers that made use of a graphical interface, not command lines. Their mouses were ball mouses, so they were free to move in any angle or direction. Up, down, left, right, or at angles. The ball would move an axle that would turn a disc. On one side of the disc had a light, and the other side of the disc had a light sensor. The discs had small holes in it, so as you moved the ball, it would turn the disc, pulsing the light. Then the sensors would tell which way the mouse was going. Xerox made products for only businesses, so this mouse wasn't well known until Apple made a deal with Xerox. Xerox got partner ownership of Apple, and Apple got to use their technology. Apple popularized this mouse in the release of the Macintosh in 1984. By this time, Microsoft was already selling their own mouse that came with word processors. Mouses did not change much until the 90s. The only change between the 80s and 90s was the shape. In 1994, there was the first trackpad, which was released with the Apple PowerBook, as well as being the first laptop with Ethernet. People had to wait until 1966 for the next groundbreaking piece of innovation, the scroll wheel, and in 1980 the optical mouse was released. But the concept was old. It was developed with a Macintosh, but it was too expensive. This mouse could work with only a specific type of mousepad, because the LED would look for differences in colour and texture, and it took a while before that you get the mousepads that you know today, where they can work on anything and doesn't matter what it looks like. Back to then, it took a while before it got cheap enough for the parts and that people wanted them before they were starting to get mass produced. In 1999, optical mouses were still expensive, but Microsoft was selling theirs about $70, which nowadays is about 53 UK pounds. The first gaming mouse was released in 1999 that used a ball mouse. This was made by Razer at the time. Optical mouses are more reliable and better at tracking motion than ball mouse, but ball mouse as well would also get dirty and easier for them to stop, and performance would decrease faster over time. 2004, Logitech released their laser mouse called the Logitech MX1000. This was a more reliable than most optical mouses because they didn't use LEDs, they used lasers. This was better at tracking and could track on more surfaces. Mouse technology was still innovated by Xerox now, but faster. And most innovations to all mouses were pushed by gamers mainly, as other people didn't need them, so faster processing on the inside for movements, could scan on more surfaces, programmable buttons, and we can't forget RGBs. Other big changes was replacing the PS2 connector with USB, and the ability to track on glass with some of the newer fancy mouses. Hope you learned something new. If you did enjoy this video or learned something new, please leave a like, and if you didn't like this video, well, don't do anything and maybe take a look at another one. You might like it. Goodbye. Bye.